So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to show you what over the years I ended up calling the Hello YouTube setup, which is basically the setup that I use when I'm recording my YouTube videos, but it's one of my favorite setups in the game as well. People often ask me why I only use Inaros in my videos, and it's because I just really like tanky frames, and Inaros is as tanky as they get, which also makes him perfect for showcasing weapons. I don't have to worry about survivability, I don't need to keep up abilities, all I need to worry about is the combat and whether or not the video recording looks good or not. This also makes Inaros one of the most chill frames in the game because you can just sort of play the game, have fun, and you don't need to worry about dying. Especially if you're into melee combat like me. I know a lot of people find the melee in Warframe boring, but I find it really fun, and having a really tanky frame is essential for Steel Path. Or, you know, it's essential if you like the kind of gameplay that I like, which is I play like a cannonball. I'm in the middle of everything, swinging away. So here is what the main setup looks like, and it's very expensive. It's 4 forma in total, and 2 of them are Umbra. You don't necessarily have to go with the Umbra mods though, you can just go with normal mods and save yourself the Umbra forma. Now, I have 2 setups for Inaros. They're very similar, but one is focused more on melee and the other one is focused more on arc guns. The melee one runs corrosive projection as the aura, which is the best one you can run here for damage, and prime sure-footed in the Exilus. This makes you immune to knockdowns. Now, you could run Scarab armor, which is an augment for Scarab swarm, which also makes you immune to knockdowns, on top of also giving you the immunity for status effects, but that takes up a normal mod slot, which is not great, and it also drains your Scarab swarm every time you shrug off one of these effects. So for me, prime sure-footed is the winner here, even though it's more expensive, especially if you're running with a lot of explosive weapons, so you have to worry about self-stagger as well. Then we have the 3 Umbra mods, so Vitality, Fiber, and Intensify for a ton of health, armor, and strength respectively, and we add even more health and armor with Gladiator Resolve and Aegis. These are not necessarily here for their stats though, they're mainly here for the 2-point Gladiator set bonus, which gives you a 20% crit chance per combo multiplier. This is kind of like a mini Blood Rush effect that will stack on top of Blood Rush. People actually sometimes ask me, how do you get red crits with this weapon? Do you have a Riven? Because for me, I only get orange crits, and the answer to that is the 2-piece Gladiator set bonus, because it stacks on top of Blood Rush and gives you basically a stronger Blood Rush. Then, even though it might seem like a bit of an overkill, I have Adaptation, and Adaptation is just really good on tanky frames, because you already have the bulk to take the initial damage to adapt to it in the future, right? So you basically become even tankier than you already are. This doesn't really do much in the normal game, but if you do something like the Profit Taker, you're really going to notice it, because you can basically face tank the entire fight. Now after that, I'm running Eternal War, and this is because I have Warcry subsumed on this setup, and this kind of makes it automatic. I don't have to worry about it at all, because every time I get a melee kill while I have Warcry running, I get extra 2 seconds on the Warcry duration. This is further boosted by the addition of Primed Continuity, which basically gives you longer initial Warcry, it adds more duration per kill from Eternal War, and it also allows you to stack your duration with Eternal War higher. And personally, I subsumed Warcry on the second ability slot because that's the ability I just don't use on this setup at all. Now for Arcanes, I'm running Arcane Grace, which is very strong for Inaros, and Arcane Strike, which is really good for melee. Arcane Grace makes it so that whenever you are hit, there is a chance you will regenerate a percentage of your maximum health, which on a frame that has 7,500 health is a bloody lot. And Arcane Strike gives you a chance to increase your attack speed by quite a bit whenever you hit something. Now, I don't actually use Arcane Strike whenever I'm recording YouTube videos, and that's because I want to have the actual attack speed of the weapon represented in the video, so I only use Arcane Strike when I'm playing on my own. But it is by far the best arcane you can run on a melee setup, because 40% extra attack speed is a lot of attack speed. And it can make some weapons that are otherwise too slow actually bearable and fun. Now for the companion, I am running Biggest Nickus. Biggest Nickus is a Nickus Moa that you can get in Fortuna, and it doesn't really matter what type of Moa it is, because you can just build all of them and then mix and match the precepts as much as you want. And he is mostly there for support and to spread status around. The build is actually not too expensive, it's only 1 forma, and it's running Security Overdrive, so the Moa can actually hack, then Link Health, which gives it almost 13,000 health when combined with Inaros, and Link Armor, which gives it almost 1,000 armor, and this kind of makes it indestructible. Then we have Synth Fiber. This is mainly for the set bonus because it makes it so that whenever you holster a primary or a secondary weapon, it will reload 5% of its magazine every second. The next preset I chose was Blast Shield, and this is mainly for the Moa leap. It makes it a little bit more mobile, and the Shockwave with the knockdown is really good as well. Then we of course have one of the most important mods here, Vacuum, to suck items to you, and Primed Animal Instinct. This mod is just amazing. I can't play without it anymore. I just feel blind without the loot and enemy radar nowadays. Then we're using one half of the Medipet Kit mod because healing 13,000 health at the rate of 6 health per second is gonna take a bloody while, so we're only using the bleed out reduction here, which is gonna make it so that you have about a minute to revive the Moa if it somehow gets downed. And speaking about healing, we have Pack Leader. This makes you heal your Moa for 36% of all the melee damage you do. So basically, if you're doing melee damage, your Moa is immortal. And the final mod here is Coolant Leak, which gives the Moa a small freezing aura. Now for the weapon on the Moa, I'm running the Hellstrom, which is a swarm missile launcher for Moas. And here I'm running Vigilante Supplies, Vigilante Armaments, and Vigilante Fervor. Now these do actually give the Moa some benefits. We have multi-shot from the Armaments and fire rate from the Fervor, but they are mostly there for the 3-point Vigilante set bonus, which gives you a 50% chance to enhance a primary crit. And this works for you, so if you crit with your primary weapon, there's a 15% chance the crit will go up by 1 tier. So if you hit a yellow crit, there's a 15% chance it becomes an orange crit. If you hit an orange crit, there's a 15% chance it will become a red crit. This is very strong, and I would recommend it to pretty much anyone that runs any kind of a crit weapon as their primary. Now after that, we have Rifle Aptitude for a ton of status chance, we have Split Chamber for multi-shot, followed by Malignant Force and Rhymed Rounds for virulent status, and finally Primed Firestorm, which makes the rocket explosion have a 5-meter radius. With this setup, the Moa will basically carpet bomb the entire battlefield with rockets, and it's almost as good as a normal primer weapon would be. So this, with the exception of Arcane Strike, is what I will run in 90% of my YouTube videos, because it's just really good. It's stress-free, it's very tanky, and it's great for showcasing weapons, but it's also a lot of fun to play. Because, you know, sometimes it's just nice to pick up a weapon and have fun with it without having to worry about knockdowns and status and health and all that kind of stuff. Now, I did say I have 2 versions of this setup, so let's check out the second one, which is focused more on arc guns. This is what I call the Heavy Gunner, and it's very similar. It still has Corrosive Projection, Prime Sure-Footed, and the 3 Umbra mods, but then I'm running Saxum Carapace for a little bit more health, Nira's Hatred for even more health and some extra ability duration, and then once again we have Adaptation for the extra tankiness. Now on this one we're running Hunter Adrenaline so that as we take damage to our health we generate energy, and we top it off with Primed Continuity for even more power duration. The reason the setup is as it is because we are subsuming Dispensary on this one, which is the most reliable way of getting heavy ammo for arc guns. This allows you to sustain your arc guns pretty much forever as long as you keep your Dispensary down, which is exactly what I wanted from this setup because I just like arc guns. I like slowly moving around with this big gun, blowing enemies away. It's just a fun thing to do every now and then. Plus, the Dispensary provides you with extra energy and health orbs, which if you're not playing solo and you're in a party, other players can benefit from as well. So it's a pretty simple setup, but it works quite well. Now, I'm not saying that this is the best setup in the game or even the best Inaros setup, it's just the setup that I really like and I've been running it for a long time now. So give it a shot if you like the idea of it. And that's pretty much what there is to say about it, so I thank you very much for watching as always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.